Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this quick guide giving you some tips on how you can become better at Red Dead Online's new mode called Gun Rush. In Gun Rush, you essentially just play a Battle Royale mode. Now, if you're not familiar with Battle Royale, all it really comes down to is that you need to be the last one or the last team standing, and then you will win the game. Now, you can do this by any means necessary. In Red Dead Online, it does follow the same pattern and the same basic methods, I guess, as you would be expecting in any other Battle Royale mode. The way it works is that you start off outside of the circle and you make your way inside, and as you make your way inside, you can already start picking up a few weapons here and there. But in the middle of the map, that's where the bigger guns are, such as rifles and repeaters, and that sort of fun stuff. Now, in order to get consistently good at this and also to, get consistent wins, there's a few things that I've learned over the course of playing this that I figured that I would share with you as well, so you might actually also are able to improve inside of Gun Rush as well. Now, starting off, as you spawn into the map, like I've said before, you spawn way outside and you have to make your way in. The very first thing that you need to make sure is obviously that you get a gun. Now, grabbing a pistol is already, perfectly fine as well. Any gun will do, and then just slowly but surely make your way into the middle. Now, rushing in there like a madman immediately is only going to get you killed. So as you get closer and closer to the middle, you want to be a bit cautious with your surroundings as well, because essentially everyone is coming to the middle from outside of the circle, meaning that you're definitely going to meet up as soon as you get to the middle of the map. So what you want to do is you kind of want to stick outside of the circle and not immediately rush in, because if you're running through the middle, especially if you're playing solos, you're going to be shot from multiple different angles as well. Then once you got yourself a couple of guns, you want to make sure that you stick to the first two guns that you really pick. It's not really beneficial to try to run around the map and try to find a better weapon. What you want to do is you want to find one or two guns that you're comfortable with and then stick with that until the end of the round. Gun Rush in general doesn't really take an awful lot of time in order to complete, so spending a lot of time trying to get that perfect loadout for you is going to only get you killed. Another great way of making sure that you will stay alive a little bit longer is the armor crate that you can find in every single map. Now, essentially what the armor comes down to, it allows you to survive an additional shotgun blast. Now, that also means that if you want to counter that, then having a shotgun in your back pocket at all times is a very good idea. Especially a double barrel will be very useful to make quick work of those people using armor. Another great weapon for that is the explosive bow. This one will definitely get rid of all those nasty bastards that are using armor. I personally haven't really seen armor being used all that much by people, because it is basically kind of hidden behind this little crate that you can see on the map. If it's really worth it to go from one side of the map to the other one just to get armor, in my opinion, is not really worth it at all. Typically, people just kind of, tend to hang back in this game mode and not really, pay too much attention to what really is going on in their surroundings, which is definitely something that you want to do. Basically, what a lot of these players are doing in random lobbies as of the time of recording this video is they really like to just kind of, sneak around and hope for the best, really, and try if they can pick up some easy kills off here and there. But what you mainly want to do is kind of just, counter that by roaming around and, keep looking around you at all times, especially on roofs and, harder to see areas is where you typically will find players. High ground is definitely one thing that will win you a lot of gunfights. It essentially serves as a very nice vantage point where you can see all over the map. Every map has this apart from tall trees. Tall trees is a bit of a different animal in terms of Gun Rush, mainly because there's a lot of trees involved, obviously, because hence the name Tall Trees, and there's not really any clear paths or anything like that. It's very random in that regard. So Tall Trees is definitely one of the more difficult maps, especially because a lot of people can hide in bushes, but you can also use those bushes to your advantage, because like you can see by this clip right here, this is a perfect example of how you should pick fights. So I recently killed this guy, and then I got shot by someone else. So what I did is I acted like I was running away, but in reality I was still there, and I snuck into a bush and waited for that other guy to show up. As soon as he showed up, I revealed myself, shot him in the face, and walked away to the next guy. And that's kind of what Gun Rush most of the time really comes down to. Like, if you're seeing someone running around, you know, if you're confident in being able to shoot him in the face real quick, then you can go ahead and do so. And that is one of the prime examples of why you should always make sure that you check your surroundings. Like, before you go somewhere, check exactly what is going on in your area. Is it safe to cross the street? Like, crossing the street is definitely one of the most dangerous things that you can possibly do inside of Gun Rush, because, you know, if you're in the middle of an area, there's multiple eyes on you at all times, especially in team modes when there is a lot of other people playing at the same time. Now, when it comes to team modes, there's a few things I can tell you about it. Obviously, if you're playing team modes, one of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure that you kind of stick with your team. Mainly because if you get shot or a teammate gets shot, you basically get information. And if there's one thing that's very important inside of the Gun Rush game mode, it's information. It's knowing where your teammates are. It's knowing where your enemies are. Especially if you're playing on McFarlane's Ranch, there's a lot of rooftop play going on, especially because there's the sandstorm going on at the same time as well. So the visibility is pretty low, but you can also use that at your advantage as well. So definitely one of those maps where you really have to, like, you know, see about picking your fights and stuff like that, because if you don't, you're gonna end up at the wrong side of the barrel, and obviously that's something you would want to avoid. But yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of this video. I hope you found this useful. If you did, make sure to leave it a like, and if you have any other additional tips that you think that I might have missed, make sure to leave them in the comments down below. Thanks everyone for watching, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all later.